Welcome back to the Indus Corner podcast. You're witnessing interview number 12. You already know who it is. It's your host, the legend Todd Finney himself. Hey, I got a special guest in the building. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the world-known Tony Weeks. Tony, how you feeling?
I'm fine. How you doing?
I'm good, man. Excited to have you on.
Thank you. I'm excited to be on.
All right, before we get started, man, I just want to appreciate, just really appreciate this opportunity. I know you're a busy guy, so the opportunity to have a referee like yourself on my channel is amazing for me. So I really appreciate this.
You're quite welcome. Thank you.
All right, so like, how was your time at the WBO convention in Dominican Republic?
Oh, it was great. It's always nice and to be at those conferences that they have. You have all your fellow officials from all over the world, and just a lot of beautiful people coming together and celebrating boxing. Yeah, so Dominican Republic was a very beautiful place.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Glad to hear it. So, let me just start from the beginning. Tell us how you first became a referee.
Well, it all started when I was an athletic director in the federal prison system, and I decided to bring up some fighters and put on a little boxing exhibition. And because we had an inmate there who was a fighter, and one of the coaches wanted to train him when he got out. So put a little show together. He brought up some of his fighters, and I got permission for the from the authorities to allow the inmate to spar with one of the fighters, and I kind of made his fight kind of the main event. We set the ring up there in the rec yard, and the rec yard was packed, and they started sparring, and it just dawned on me that I didn't get a referee, and more so out of curiosity, I asked one of the trainers, Beto Martinez, "Hey, you mind if I get up there and referee?" He says, "No, go ahead." And to make a long story short, instantly when I got up there, man, I fell in love with it, and actually the trainer took it a step further and called the local athletic commission and, say, "Hey, you give this guy a try," because at the end of the show, he had asked me if I ever done that before. I said, no. He says, "Well, you look like you have good natural movements," and the rest is history.
Wow. So you say you worked in the prison system, and that's how you basically got started.
Yes.
Wow, that's awesome, man. That was gonna be my next question. Like, what did you do before you was a referee? But you pretty much cleared that up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like so. Correct me if I'm wrong. So if you want to be a referee, you have to contact the athletic commission in your state. I mean, does it vary from state to state?
In general, you start out the amateur ranks, and hope to be discovered, so to speak, and you can let your local athletic commission know that you're interested in turning professional, and that can you submit an application, so your application be on file, and they can watch you progress and take it from there.
Okay. Yeah. So you've been a referee since 1994, correct?
That's correct.
Wow. So like out of all the years you've been refereeing, almost 30 years, so you're a veteran for almost 30 years. So like which year would you say was your busiest? Like you refereed the most fights?
That's hard to say. Here in Vegas, we get a lot of fights, period, and especially a lot of big fights. But I stay busy pretty much all year round.
Oh, okay. All right. So like when you're at a fight, a big fight, like how do you prepare for that? Like when you're backstage, are you calm? Are you constantly moving around? Like what's going through your mind when you're preparing for a fight?
Oh, it's like any other type of event. You're staying focused on what you have to do. We're not really backstage. We're out front. Where the fights are. And for me personally, like I say, my mind is on the fights and what I have to do, especially if I'm doing a big fight or a main event fight. But any fight is a big fight to me, because the responsibility of a referee. You have those two guys' lives in your hands, and not only enforcing the rules and regulations. It can get very tough in there. So it's just staying focused on the task at hand.
Got you, got you. I've been to quite a big fights, a lot of big fights, televised fights, and I've been to a lot of small fights. So yeah, it's definitely a serious sport. Where you could definitely get hurt for sure. Yeah, so like when you're doing your job as a ref, is it a big difference like when you're refereeing, like the welterweights, compared to the heavyweights? Because since those guys are a lot bigger, or is the job still the same? Was it a lot tougher, when you are dealing with heavyweights?
Oh yeah, well, I mean, like they say, size does matter. You're dealing with the big guys. You really have to have some strength. Pull those guys apart. Those small guys, that they're very quick in the ring, very fast in the ring. So you have to stay on your toes with the small guys. But that's primarily difference. Yeah, when you get up there and weight, there is a difference.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So like what would you say is, the most difficult part of your job?
Like I say, just knowing when a fighter has had enough. Because like I say, ultimately we have those guys' lives in our hands, and a fighter is going to go out on the shield, and ultimately we have to save a fighter from themselves. Um, and so it can get very difficult in there in times, enforcing the rules and regulations, especially when you have a very heated fight where two guys don't generally like each other, and you have to keep control of that fight. So I mean, either way, there's a tremendous amount of pressure up in that ring.
Facts, facts. Because a lot of fighters, lost their lives in the ring. Some fighters, their health isn't the same after the fight. So it's definitely a sport, where you got to save the fighter, like you said, save the fighter from themselves for sure. Yeah. So I've been to a lot of different fights, and I'm just throw some a couple of rough names out there. I seen Harvey Dock referee. I seen Steve Smoger referee. Rest in peace to him. So like, have you ever like had any conversation with those guys? Like, did you know them on a personal level? Talk to them on the phone or anything like that?
But yeah, I've known, it's a boxing fraternity, and we all know each other.
Okay.
Yeah, I know those guys. Harvey Dock, he comes out here and he referees some fights out here as well. And I
Mhm.
knew Steve Smoger, coming up and stuff. So yeah, we meet each other on different occasions. And no, it's like I say, it's a little boxing fraternity there.
Got you. Got you. So I'm gonna ask you about a couple of fights. You refereed Marcus Brown and Battle Jack. Battle Jack, man, he had like a big hole in his head, man. It was pouring blood. So how was that experience? In that fight, your whole shirt was soaked in blood. So like, how was that experience?
Well, it was a very tough experience. I mean, well, that iconic photo of me when in the bloody shirt, still going viral. Um, yeah, it was a bad cut. It was a cut on the forehead. Any cut on the forehead, because you have a lot of uh, blood vessels in your forehead, and you're going to bleed profusely. So, and it was a very bad cut. The only good thing about the cut, I would say, that it was in the middle of his forehead, and it was drizzling down the side of his nose, so it wasn't really getting in his eye. And I took him over to the doctor twice. The doctor gave it okay, and I even asked Badu if he still wanted to continue. Yes, he wanted to continue, and he continued. There was no really real danger in there of him losing sight or anything of that. So he finished the fight, and that's another history making situation right there.
Facts for sure, for sure. I've seen fights, where fighters had small cuts, and the fight ends up getting stopped. But that was a bad one. Like I said, the fight, continues. So yeah, that was a good thing. Tough thing to see, tough thing to see. But he continued. He's a warrior for sure. Yeah, so this year, man, we had, so many big fights. We had, Tank versus Ryan Garcia. We had Devin Haney versus Lomachenko. You know, Errol Spence, Terrence Crawford, and we got another big fight coming up, David Benavidez versus Demetrius Andrade. Do you think it's possible that you could be, a referee on that card?
It's possible.
It's possible. Okay. All right. So, correct me if I'm wrong. Not only are you a ref, but you also judge fights too.
I judge the UFC fights and
Okay.
referee. Yeah.
I'll say you haven't judged any boxing fights.
No, no.
Okay. So how do you like judging for UFC?
I mean, it was two totally different combat sports, and yeah, I mean, because I'm into martial arts, so they're both enjoyable.
Okay. So you like martial arts too?
Oh yes.
Okay. All right. Correct me if I'm wrong. You judged about 11 fights, right?
I'm sorry.
Did you judge about 11 fights?
11. What do you think? Boxing matches or what?
Oh, UFC.
I've done a lot of yeah, I can't even count them. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you got a role in the Creed movie. Creed movie. Did big numbers. In the movies. I went to see it myself. So like, tell us about that phone call and like how did you like having a role in the movie? How was it being on set? Seeing all the fighters, the famous people. Like, tell us about all that.
It was a beautiful experience, a great experience. I received a call from his production staff that they wanted me to come down and come out and be in the movie, playing myself, of course, as the referee. And we were on location in Atlanta, Georgia, for 2 weeks, 12 hours a day. And then as you rehearse scene after scene after scene. And let me tell you, Michael B. Jordan, that was his first time directing the movie, and he did a fantastic job. And Jonathan Majors and Michael B. did a fantastic job in the fight scenes. It really looked authentic, and those guys really worked hard at their technique, and which helped me as a referee. So because I was more or less going on for them, and it was just a fantastic experience.
Yeah, do you think you will be participating in like any movies in the future, like boxing related?
I hope so.
Yeah, definitely want to see you, back in the movie scene for sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, so like 2023 is get ready to come to a close. As I mentioned, we had so many big fights. Is there any particular fight that you would like to see? Like me personally, I want to see Wilder and AJ. Is there any fights like that you would like to see that hasn't happened yet?
As an official, I really can't comment on
Okay.
fights and in that nature and stuff. But just hey, I would just love to see all these fights happen that the fans want to happen.
All right. Yeah, and so is there any fights that that you ref in your career that you look back and rewatch the most?
Oh, most definitely. 2005 Fight of the Year and Round of the Year, the first fight with Diego Corrales and Jose Luis Castillo.
Yeah, and I was going to get into that too. Yeah, that was back and forth war. Rest in peace. Rest in peace. Diego Corrales. But yeah, that was a back and forth war, and both guys. They traded knockdowns. Diego Corrales ended up getting a stoppage. So yeah, tell us about that experience.
It was a great experience. I was on Cinco de Mayo holiday, and it was at the Mandalay Bay, and for some reason we didn't have a really capacity crowd. They weren't really household names. They were big names around the boxing circle, but what the fans experienced that night was incredible. What I experienced that night was incredible. These two gallant warriors going at it head to head, toe to toe, for the 10 hard rounds. It was a very close fight. And, Corrales getting knocked down twice and having the courage and the stamina and the know-how to get up and recover and come back and not only come back but come back to win that fight. What a dramatic ending in that fight.
Yeah, he was definitely, a warrior for sure, man. Yeah. So, like a lot of the big name fighters, we're only seeing them, fight, once or twice a year. So, like as a referee, you rush so many fights a year. So like how do you balance that, like the traveling, like how do you balance that with like family?
Well, like any job, your family knows you have a job to do, and they're all for you. They're on your side, um, and they people know the importance of your job, as we discussed before. You know, staying focused, and because ultimately, like, we have those two guys' lives in our hands and their careers in our hands. So it does take somebody, people, to understand exactly what you need to do and so forth and so on.
All right. And have you roughed like a lot of fights like out the country?
I've done a lot of fights out of the country. Actually, I'm getting ready to go out the country now to do a fight in Nicaragua, and I can't remember what the fighters' names, but it's a WBO title fight, and it's going to be streamed live on ESPN Plus next Friday.
Wow. So you definitely staying busy, man. 'Cause you said you just did Zerto Ramirez and Joe Smith. You just at the WBO convention, and now you traveling out the country for another fight. So yeah, definitely staying busy for sure, man.
Hmm.
Yeah. So like before we close it out, is there like anything that you just like want your viewers or your listeners to know, like as far as like trials and tribulations, anything, any encouragement words that you want to share?
Well, hey, just pursue anything you want in life. This was a dream of mine to, you know, to to be a professional referee. I never in my wildest dream I would think I would be in the position I am today. But things happen. You do the right things. You do good, and good will come upon you. So yeah, just keep going, and no matter what, you're gonna have your cloudy days, but the sun will come out again.
Facts. All right. So like I said, I want to thank you again, for this opportunity. And I speak more success in your life. I speak blessings over your life. I wish you a huge successful year, for 2024. And I hope you get to, referee a lot more fights, get more movie roles, and keep doing your thing.
Yeah. Also, I want to say, my other passion is singing. I perform. And I will be, if anybody's out there from Chicago, I will be performing at a Buddy Guys Legends in Chicago on November 10th.
Okay, that's what's up. So you got a passion for singing too.
Absolutely. Old school
All
rhythm
right.
and blues.
Oh, that's what's up. That's what's up. Yeah, so we got one comment. I'm gonna just read the comment. The guy G5 Jeff TV, he's tuned in. He said salute.
All right.
So, all right. Yeah, again, man, I want to appreciate you. Appreciate this opportunity. Like I said, it means a lot to me. To have a big name referee as yourself. So give us like your social media. Like, where can everybody find you?
I'm on I'm on Facebook, Tony Weeks, and Instagram, Tony Weeks Official.
All right. Yeah, y'all know where I'm at, man. I'm on TikTok, The Legend 3347. I'm on IG, Instagram, same name, The Legend 3347. I'm on Facebook as Todd Finney, and you guys just witnessed the 12th interview with professional referee Tony Weeks. Tony, again, man, I appreciate the opportunity to be out.
Thank you. Appreciate you, brother.